Hey everyone! Welcome to another episode of Monday Mornings with Elyse-anne. Welcome. And today's topic is about networking, how to network to build your business. Now, I know this topic is like a mystic topic to a lot of women, so I'm gonna debunk demystify all the myths and what you should and should not do during networking events. So before I go on, this is elyse-anne, your host, and I help spiritual visionary entrepreneurs create a purposeful, thriving spiritual business and make meaningful money and live a delightful, rich life the way they want it and desire it. This is so awesome. So I am the creator of the Spiritual Entrepreneurs on the Facebook group and the founder of Her Spiritual Network. And, I started my business not having networking in my business. I started my business in 2005 as a boutique owner. I started a small little blog shop, not blog shop, but a little space like, the pop-up stores in one of the villages. And so that was my first business. Well, that was the only business that failed because I knew nothing about business. I just thought my business was just going to take off, get the clothes, get a partner, and it would just take off magically, right? But it's not like that. So I learned the hard way and I lost $10,000 on that. So, and then I started my spiritual journey and then I decided I want to do this healing business, and I thought I was going to just retire being a healer and a card reader, right? And I just thought I put my domain, I put up my website, get things done, and so people would start finding me, but it's not the case. And then I start wondering why were people coming in. Again, I had a partner. Why were people coming in? Why wasn't I found online? So I got really frustrated, and then a few years later I realized that your gifts are not enough to grow your business and get your name out there. You actually need to know what's the difference between features and benefits, right? So about 3-4 years ago, I started my coaching business, and that was when I decided to take my business off the coffee table and into the real world. So, and also another reason why I backed away from spirituality for a while and took myself out of the healing circle, because in Singapore, I think in the world, I can speak for that, 7 years ago, it was like almost unheard of, and people thought I was crazy and people thought I was loony. Even my own family, my own husband thought so. And it was like that community, everybody knew everyone. It was just 5% of the population, wherever you are, just take that as the ballpark, 5% of the population. And it was, you go for this workshop, you knew that person, and it was just like a family, and everyone was sort of fighting for clients, and there was this price war. She charged 30, so I charged 20, and then it becomes very wonky and yucky because everyone's deciding based on price, and you are training your potential clients, and you're training your clients to hire you based on price and not because you are the best. So you can ask yourself this question: do you want to be hired because you are the best, or oh my god, I just realized I'm off the instant teleseminar. But if you are on instant teleseminar, you can hear the recording on the video. So yeah, before I go on, I'm actually juggling two platforms. One is the Google Hangout, and one is the teleseminar. So I apologize if you are on teleseminar. You can listen to the recording. It's recorded on Google Hangout. All right, so that was when I decided, like, hey, I really needed to learn more about the 95% of the community who are not spiritual, because that's where the money is at. And if you want to change lives and make a difference in someone else's life, then you cannot be in your comfort zone and just be comfortable with the spiritual people, because they know what you know, and why are you selling them? So it's a 95% of the population that I'm interested in. And that was when I went into psychology and I went to really learn about business. So, and then, And then I hired a coach, and she introduced networking to me, and I like totally new in networking. I mean, I was a flight attendant, so I networked on flight, but that was what I was supposed to do. I was paid to talk to people. So talking to people wasn't as scary because you're just doing casual talk, like, hi, how are you? Where are you going? Oh, wow, this, and then, the normal stuff. Like you just, just dramatize yourself. Wow, that's so interesting. That's so cool. Wow, And then when I attended my first networking event, I was like shaking because I was supposed to talk about myself, and I was a card reader right then, and that's so esoteric, and I'm like, wow, that's crazy. And the people were talking about CRMs, like, I don't know, like serious business, like, so why would people take me seriously? So I remember wearing a dress, right? I remember wearing a dress, and I had this 30-second elevator pitch. The members had 60 seconds, the visitors had 30 seconds. It was the most longest 30 seconds ever for me. I'm like, oh my God, please do not be me. Please just hang on, talk a little bit more. And eventually it had to come to me. And I stood up, I remember my knees going, and I think the table shook. And I'm like, oh my God, so what I'm gonna say? But anyway, and before I stood up, I remembered this mantra, and I remembered this saying, successful people feel the fear, but they do it anyway. So I knew I wasn't that successful yet, but and I kind of like calmed myself down, right? If successful people have the fear, then it's totally normal, right? So that was how it got me through. And I stood up, and I seriously can't remember what I said, and I just sat down. I think I just finished it in 30 seconds. The bell didn't even ring. So that's what you need to be prepared for, elevator pitch, right? So that was my first networking event. It was so horrifying, but I knew then, I saw the benefits of networking because everybody came together, and they gave referrals to one another, and they talked about their business. They met off the networking event, and so I saw the benefits of it. The only problem was what I was selling, because people were businessy. It was a BNI chapter, so people were so businessy. There were lawyers, there were, I don't know, business coaches. I wasn't a business coach yet, so I was just card reader, right? And then there was this feng shui, but feng shui seemed more normal than a card reader, right? And there was people from banks, bankers, and so they were from the real world. But yet I saw the benefits of it. So, but that was many years ago. And so much later on, I decided, hey, I'm gonna join a women's network, because that seemed more in alignment with what I want to do, because I'm helping women anyway. So before that, I was actually a VP, a vice president of a BNI chapter, and I didn't like it because every week I had to attend, and it was just so. People were just giving referrals for the sake of giving referrals, and I didn't like that. Although I was top referrer, I was the referral queen. I didn't like that either. You have to understand, most networks, they were created by men and for men. So like BNI, it was created by Dr. Ivan Meisner. Obviously, he's a man, and he created BNI, Business Networking International, was because I think during 2000 and something, the economy went down in America, and so everything crashed. Remember, the internet wasn't as vibrant as now, right? So therefore, he collected this group, gathered this group of people, and started giving referrals. And I believe then it was genuine referrals. But as time moved on, it becomes really wonky, because there is this rule in the BNI chapter where you have to give referrals, and there's a certain number you have to keep. So there's this giving for the sake of giving, but referrals, what it truly means is, you don't have, every week there is this number you got to keep, and that's very stressful for me. So everybody started just giving referrals for the sake of giving it. And what I mean by referrals is when, talking to someone, and then they tell you that, hey, I need a plumber. Oh, you know what? I have a plumber. Why don't I recommend you that plumber? And people, usually respond to referrals, as in recommendations, better than, flipping the yellow pages or going in Google, because it's a third party testimonial. So you trust that, right? So it's like, when was the last time you gave a referral to, we call it a referral, but we would call it recommendation. Like someone would ask you, where's the nice restaurant, an Italian restaurant? You say, oh, you know, this from 5th Street, the Italian restaurant is really nice. That's a referral. You weren't paid to do it. So that seemed more credible versus like, I'm paid to do it, because if you're paid to do it, then it could, you know, because I'm paid, right? So that is what by referrals. And so it is so important, if you want to, you know, recession proof your business, you have to build these networks. I'm not saying that it's easy, it takes time. So today I'm gonna talk about from the beginning to the end. It's like, think about networking, right? It's like dating. It's like going for dating, like speed dating. You don't decide to marry the guy and sleep with the guy on the first date, right? That would be horrendous. I hope you don't have the intention. So when you have all these expectations, like, oh my God, today is the day, and oh my, yes, you know, and then usually when you have such high expectations, and when you attend these events, your expectation don't exceed your expectation, you get really disappointed, right? So I used to be a love coach before, and these are the same principles, same exact principles when you attend networking events and a speed dating event or whatever it is, right? You must have heard stories like the most beautiful love stories happen when the woman is without makeup, or when she's jogging, or just like be herself. Same thing with networking. All right, so I want to first talk about, why do you want to network? What are your objectives? First of all, your objective, like I said, is not to sleep and marry the guy the first date. So same thing, your objective for networking is not getting clients. If you are at that space where I need clients, then you know it's best not to attend any networking events, because chances are you are not going to get any clients there and then. Think about, this is not instant gratification. This is not like going there and get clients. You know, no. You have to understand, people buy from people they know, like, and trust, and people buy from people where they have built relationships with. So attending networking events is like, you meet the people for the first time. You won't get it. Like, you know, you go on Facebook groups, right? If you go there, just post something, hey, hire me, like, nobody's gonna be responding to it. Same thing, the same thing applies. Offline networking, online networking, same principles. All right. So what are your objectives for networking? It is part of your networking, your marketing pie. So your marketing pie could consist of social media, blogging, advertising, networking, right? So on social media, there's Twitter, there is Facebook, there's Pinterest, there's Instagram, there's so on and so forth. So for that, I'm just gonna briefly touch on it, just pick two, right? I have YouTube and I have Facebook, and that's my favorite social media channel. So you can pick whatever you want. And so obviously I have a thriving Facebook community on the spiritual entrepreneurs, and another one is the Her Spiritual Network. So I love Facebook. Everyone is on Facebook. So before you attend, you also have to know who are your ideal clients, right? So that would make it easier to talk to people, right? So what are your objectives? It's not to get clients. It's not to get clients. Get it in your brain. It is not to get clients. Networking is going out there, build relationships, get your name out there, especially if you want to build a local community. You want to be in the local scene. I started that way as well. I started, I didn't have, first of all, to be honest, I knew I wanted a global network, but I didn't have the confidence to globalize myself. So I started locally first, which is a good thing, because I started locally, networking locally, and that's how it got me to the media and so on and so forth. And it raised my bar, it raised my profile, and it raised the level of confidence that I'm playing now globally, right? So start locally. I mean, yeah, this is for the recording. So yeah, start locally. So what are the objectives? Is to build relationships and see if there are any potential joint venture partners, if there anybody that you could, you know, take the relationship further, and so on and so forth. So it's not so much on getting clients, it's about getting your name out there. So can you imagine going to like 5 networkings per month? And usually good networkings, there will be at least 30 people. So 30 times 5, that's like 60 people who just suddenly know that you exist, your business exists, right? So if you didn't go out, then these 60 people would not have happened. And think about, typically everyone, would have at least 250 friends. And let's not talk about Facebook, because now the average is about 500 to 1,000. But some people still have at least, like, they keep their community really small, so there's 250 people. So 60 times 250 people who you will not have access to, and that's the multiplying effect of networking. Now, here's the thing. You will not get that boom right immediately, because again, is people need to know, like, and trust you before they are willing to share their network with you. And chances are, I realize, it is just a touch and go basis. It's a lot of work. You need to follow up and build that relationship, versus when you just join a network and you know that you are part of the member. People are more willing to help you out. That's what I did. I mean, I've been seriously members for BNI and another women's networking group, and people tend to want to help you more because there's this sisterhood and there's this community, and that's what it is. Life is as such, right? And so that is your objective. So the next thing I want to touch about is your mindset. Again, I talked about briefly, your mindset is not about to go kill, and not hunt. It's about just going there, relaxing, and have meaningful conversations. And so here is what, go there and really seriously have no expectation, because it is only from that space can you truly be yourself and enjoy yourself. So again, I bring you back to the examples of dating. Can you imagine, like, oh my God, I got to pretend, I got to, like, really shine and do this and this, and then you become this person that you're not. And at the end of the day, the guy's not going to see who you are, and that's like, you make him fall in love with the wrong persona, the wrong you. Same thing with business. How you stand out from the crowd nowadays is to really be authentically you and not pretend. So when you attend networking events, really do not have any expectation. Just go there and have fun and meet as many people as possible and have meaningful conversations. And the next thing is pay attention to how you are dressing, because how you decide to dress is really what you want the world to see, and that's how you decide to show up in the world, right? I take a lot of effort when I go networking. I make sure I curl my hair, I have the makeup, put on nice lipstick, wear really, professionally, especially when I was struggling. I mean, nobody needs to know that I'm struggling, but then you cannot portray that you are struggling. So that would help you build up your confidence and boost up your confidence when you talk to people, right? The next thing, of course, I see most people when they attend networking, it's about just dishing out their name cards and just collecting name cards. But seriously, I have boxes and shoe boxes of name cards. I don't know what to do with them. And here's the thing, right? Collecting name cards does not mean you can put them in your mailing list. No, because they have this I can't spam law, and if you do that, your hosting, your account will be closed. All right. So if you genuinely feel like they can benefit from your services, or they have expressed interest, then you say, you know what, I'm gonna put you in my database so that I can keep in contact with you. There's another way to invite people into your database, which is send them a follow-up email, which I'm going to touch about that in a few minutes. So when you attend networking events, it's really not about dishing out name cards. In fact, you don't even have to give name cards, because now, thanks to Google, if they really want to hire you, if they really want to talk to you, they can check you out, right? So you can always say, hey, my name cards right now, why don't I take yours and I'll keep in contact with you. I just keen that you know something. Or if you are networking locally, just say, let's schedule a date for a coffee session. I used to do that a lot, having coffee sessions with people. That's how I built relationships with them. Now that I took my business completely offline, I have virtual coffee sessions with people via Skype, right? Because I'm not going to fly to LA, or they're not going to fly from Houston to Singapore or London to Singapore. So virtual coffee. So do whatever it takes to connect with people. And technology is on our side. So use Skype, use Zoom, whatever it is. Telestep, whatever. Google Hangout. So do whatever it takes, all right? And really, really, really understand. I have to say this again. It's not about dishing as many name cards as possible. it's about talking to people. So usually I say, hey, hi, hey, hi, how are you? Because I hang out with, I usually attend the particular networking and I'm the member there. So I just know the place really well and I know who has come and who hasn't come. So I would say, hey, hi, this is Elise. Are you your first time here? Are you a member? Yeah, I am a member. How about you? This is your first time? How did you find out about this network? Oh, wow, that's interesting. So tell me more about you. And then I go la 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 la. So I always let them speak up first because people like to talk about themselves. And if you allow people to talk about themselves, they will walk out feeling, wow, this is such a great conversation because they talked about themselves. And then once they're pretty done with themselves, they'll ask me, so how about you? And usually at this point, I wouldn't talk about what I do extensively. I would just say, oh yeah, I help business, da, 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 da. I help spiritual entrepreneurs build their business and this and that. I help them multiply their income and double up their income. I usually don't say the whole thing like what I introduced, like, oh, I help spiritual entrepreneurs build a purposeful driving. It's just so boring, right? It's so boring. So I usually just say, well, I help spiritual entrepreneurs get the name out there and double their income in record time or something like this, right? And they're like, wow, tell me more. So you gotta keep it really short, sweet, and sharp. And it's like there's this hook, like they wanna know, tell me more. Of course, I would say, I'm a member here and stuff like this. So it's not really your 30-second elevator pitch. That you use it for when you speak up and I help, blah, 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 blah. But during conversations like this, oh, it's just so boring, right? I help people mend their account so that they can file their income tax on time. But oh gosh, this is just too boring, right? So come up with a funky thing. Like I had a member, she said, I shoot people for a living. Guess what that was? Yeah, she's a photographer. Like you shoot people for a living. Like, wow, So come up with funky, interesting, catchy lines where people tell me more. Because I'm sure when you attend networking events, there'll be tons of accountants, there are tons of property agents, real estate, tons of insurance agents, tons of business coaches. So you really want to catch people's attention, right? And then you can, what you want the response to be is, tell me more. That sounds really awesome. And, even if you are like the most boring, you have the most boring, I'm not saying, I really need you like the accountant. You don't have to say, well, I am an accountant. So tell them really funky names. Well, like I play with your numbers and make sure you don't get fined from the government or something like this. So come up with a funky name. So that's what you need to do. All right. And so, oh yes, I want to touch on the dressing. So usually when I dress up for networking, okay, I'm such a media slut, right? I'm such an attention-seeking bitch, I want people to remember me, all right? So I usually, if on a good mood day, I actually vibrate with that color, I would wear red or, striking colors. I would want people to remember me versus black. It's so boring, right? Even if when I'm not in, when I wear black, I'll make sure I put on red lipsticks. I make sure I stand out from the crowd. I want people to remember me. I want to create a good first impression. So looks, looks matters. Come on, people judge, especially women. Women judge all the time, right? So I try to compliment people as well. Well, this is really nice. Women like to, don't say for the sake of saying it. Say it because you really want to say it. Like, your hair's really nice. Wow, you got a new color. And especially with members that I've not met for a long time, I always say, oh, wow, nice color. I always notice something about them and pay them a compliment. Not because I need to, because I want to. And say it like I say, if it's genuine, then say it. If it's not, then, don't do it because you don't want to be a fake girl, right? So pay attention to your dressing. It really matters. It really makes you, when you feel good, you look good, right? So, and then of course, oh my God, your breath, make sure it smells fresh, right? You don't want to go with the morning breath and oh my God, especially, BNI, we wake up like 7, the meeting starts at 7:30 and oh my God, I cannot tell you, oh gosh, it's just horrible. Can you just imagine like, oh, hi, you look really good. And then you smell really bad. And there are times where I have to go, oh my God. And then the person will go, and I'll be like, oh God, I'm just like not focused on this person. I'm just trying to get out of this conversation. So breath. Again, ladies, make sure you have no broccoli or anything stuck between your teeth, especially after lunch. You know, always have a mirror check. You may not have lipstick on, but make sure there's no broccoli, because I don't know about you, but if there's something stuck, I would not be paying attention to what you're saying. I'll be like thinking, you know, I'll be looking at your teeth, and you know, that's a distraction. So make sure, I mean, it's uncomfortable to, you know, talk about, but this is something that you need to pay attention. This is just grooming, right? I mean, I think it came from when I was a flight attendant, so everything has to be like, you know, well, and your nose, make sure there's nothing sticking out your nose. Just check before you attend. For men, make sure you're tucked in nicely, t-shirt, shirt, whatever, and you know, it's just first impression matters. You know, you only have one shot at getting your first impression right, so don't screw it up, right? Of course, you can recreate it, but seriously, don't screw it up. You have one chance, and it takes 3 seconds for someone to make a judgment on you and of you and about you. So get that right from the start, right? Think about going to a date. That guy could be gorgeous. He could be a beautiful soul. He could be such a nice person, but he turns up late and he's just messed up and he's oh God, you know. And he smells. Probably came from a tennis match. So you know, that's what I mean. And I think for networking, the more you pay attention to yourself, it kind of like shows how much you respect the person. So even when you go for like virtual networking, sometimes I take my flip-flops, but I take, you know, because it's very casual. But you make sure your hair and to your clothes, it's really nice, right? And I think it's a subliminal thing where you tell people, I really respect you. Think about it's the same thing going on dates. All right, so yeah. And so what do you do after the event, right? I mean, you have to briefly skim through. I know there are a lot of women who just find their clique. It's like networking. It's like speed dating. You know, when I was doing speed dating, people would tell me, you know, at the end of the day, I get to know more women than men. It's normal because they are so afraid of the men. They just stick with the women. And of course, you're not going to get to know any men. Same thing with networking. You must understand your thing there is to talk to as many people as possible, build relationships. So that's your objective. So, you know, whenever you get engaged in a conversation, stay there for about maximum 5 minutes and then excuse yourself. Hey, you know, have you met so-and-so? Let's introduce, and then introduce them to, and then, okay, I'm going to see you around, and then walk out, gently excuse yourself to talk to other people. Because you're in a networking event, you're not in a social event, and you're not there to like, you know, just hang out in one spot and that's it. So this is the art of excusing yourself as well. You know, so therefore when you have, oh, have you met this so-and-so? Okay, why don't you connect and, you know, and then have your drink around, be brave and walk around, excuse me, and, you know, maximum 5 minutes, then move, all right? That is when you can talk to as many people as possible and understand, you know, you want to be of help. How can I help you and not how can you help me? So usually that's what I do. I talk to people and I'm like, oh, and I see a connection between A and B, and I'll, okay, have you met so-and-so? Let me connect you, and then they go on with their conversations. So you are already seen as somebody who adds value to them, right, and not a competition. This is how I do it, and you can try it, right? Add value to someone else's conversation. And so at the end of the networking, that's what matters. So you can collect the name cards and send out like a generic, you know, hi, nice to meet you, touch base, blah blah blah. But I think I frankly I don't do that, and I don't like that. I just zoomed into 1 or 2 or 3. Usually before the event, they will give you a list of who's there and who's there, and you know who can be a potential partner and same clients but offering different things. Then zoom into that person and talk to that person, and then take the conversation offline. As in, you know, after the event, you know, I would send a message, text for that person, or send them an email. You know, let's catch up for coffee and see how we can collaborate. Blah blah blah. not about getting clients. It's about multiplying your reach, raising your profile, and getting your name out there. That's the intention. So have coffee with them, talk about them. That's where you build relationships. And women tend to find common denominator to associate themselves with, because we all need a tribe, right? So talk about family. You know, mothers would tend to glue with mothers because they have common topic and something like this. So in your mind, you have to find what's common, and oh, you like snorkeling. Oh, I like snorkeling too. Let's find let's find a day where we can snorkel. It's like dating. It's literally like dating. All right, maybe you can host an event together and multiply your reach, whatever it is, right? Once in a while, you will get clients out of the network. You will get out of I'm not saying that it won't. I'm saying that it can and it will happen. Probably just not in the first time, unless it's like you are a will writer and that person has somebody who's dying right away and they really need a will writer right now. So that sort of thing. You wouldn't know. I mean, business comes from there. So this is what happens. And you have to remember, most of us are 6 degrees apart. That means, yes, you are 6 degrees away from Oprah, right? And people would be willing to share their contact with you when they have built a relationship with you. And the reason why I'm so passionate about networking is because you go online. I'm sure you're part of many various Facebook groups, right? More than one. And what do people do? What I notice is people just go in and blast their offer. Are you this, blah, 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 and expect something. No, it's not going to happen. And even when when I launched my spiritual network last week, the people who joined were ladies who I had contact with before. Like, we had spoken, they know me, they were clients, and then they joined, right? So you need to build relationship over time. And that's why you need a mailing list as well to build relationship. In the past, people need to see you probably 7 times before they decide they want to work with you or do something with you. Now, with so much bright and shiny objects out there, competition, if you call it, people need to see you at least, I think, 36 times. There's this statistics, it's like 26 or 23 times. I think people need to see you at least 36 times. So if you imagine, like, the Facebook group is like a online networking platform. You go there, put your offer, who will hire you? And today there was this lady who put up her offer without a profile picture. I mean, who's gonna hire you? And if you are a company, even big brands right now put face to their brands. So people will say, should I brand myself or brand my company? Brand yourself. People do business with people they know, like, and trust. People do business with a face. So if you're just gonna brand yourself, my company was Purposely in Love. I mean, people will want to know, especially when it comes to relationship, who's behind that, right? So I was the face. And I realized that most women do not want to brand themselves because of self-worth issues. I'm speaking for myself. Like, initially, even with Purposely in Love, I was thinking, should I brand Purposely in Love or should I brand myself? But I decided Purposely in Love because I was just too conscious about branding myself. So there's double-edged sword for this. So later on, when I moved into business coaching, I had to rebrand myself. I had to restart a Facebook group. But thankfully, I was able to blend both together so I didn't lose my likes. So, the strange thing is, I've been in public for a while right now, and it was only until recently that I changed my Facebook title from business person to public figure, and that caused me like, I'm a public figure? Really? Oh my God. And it took me a while to sink it, to own it, like, yes, I'm a public figure. And well, if I want to get my name out there, then I jolly well get used to being the public figure, right? So women have all these issues. So if you're new and you're thinking, should I brand a company like Purposely in Love or your name, then I would strongly suggest you brand your name, because you may think you're so obsessed with what you're doing right now. I mean, God, I was obsessed with being a healer. God knows where I am right now, creating networks, building networks. I mean, I would have never imagined. So when you're in your purpose, going day and living it, taking one step at a time, you will get to another level, and it may be completely from where you are right now. So you want to build your name, not your company's name. Seriously, you do not know. You can't even guarantee right now where it's going to take you. You may be very sure, I'm just going to be a healer and I'm going to be like, I don't know what. But you can't guarantee, right? You can't guarantee, right? So therefore, brand your name, right? And people want to deal with a human being and not a logo. All right. So even with her spiritual network, I'm the face. Spiritual entrepreneurs, you know, if you go to my Facebook group, the spiritual entrepreneurs, my face is there, my family is there. It's you know, people immediately connect with you because you are a human being versus just a logo. And the next thing, oh my God, the next thing I want, oops, renovation, sorry. The next thing I want to talk about is name cards, all right? If you do want to print name cards, please do not print the name cards off your own printer, because first impression, remember? So you want to make sure it's of good quality and not flimsy quality, all right? And that's first impression. Make sure you get a designer, get good quality printing to get it done. Please, 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 please do not get it done by yourself. If you are printing, don't have, just say I ran out, or I'm in the midst of printing. Why don't you give me? Do not give like dog-eared name cards. Please don't. All right. And so if you ever do give a name card, you can always include your gift behind the name card. Like, I have a free gift, please do feel free to opt in. So there you go. You promote your offer. All right. So I'm gonna open up the line to questions right now. I have a question from Facebook. What's the difference between men and women networking? Oh, it is very different. Like I've talked about this before, men can compartmentalize their emotions. So when they network, it's all about the numbers, closing the deals, right? If you attend mixed networking events, men are usually more functional and they're realistic. So it's like, okay, you got a deal, okay, what, you know, and therefore, boom, and then the deal is done. Women don't network like this. Women, first of all, have got so many emotional problems, especially if they've got this thing, you know, it's just million and one things going on in their head, like how do I look and stuff like this. So they have got tons and tons of things going on in their head. And, you know, women judge, right? Women judge all the time. So women build relationships first and then they do business later. Women, if they don't like you, you know you are a woman, right? If they don't like you, if you don't like a person, forget it. Even though they have not stepped on your toes. Sorry, neighbor is renovating their house. So women build relationships by talking. Women talk. So once they have built that tight sisterhood relationship, it's there. It's for life. And they will watch your back and they would always talk about you. And that's why her spiritual network was all about. Recession-proof your business. You build relationships with your sisters, your soul sisters in the network, and they will talk about you, and that's how you can get your name out there. Because when you want to get your name out there, you have to have people talk about you. You talking about you all the time is boring. You need social proof. You need third-party testimonial, and that's what it happens. So for women, it's very emotional. They connect heart to heart. They want to make sure you are the same tribe, and they really like you. But once you know that it's relationship built for life, men, they're more transactional. You know, they can be friends with you, but once you know you're not like of use, then you know the next one happens. But women tend to want to help. They, you know, women are nurturing. So that's the main difference. All right. And if you want to network with men, then you've got to rewire your brain to network like them and think like men. So I wrote an article on Huffington Post, think like a man, act like a woman. So if you have to network with men, you have to deal with men, then you make sure you think like them, and it's just all about numbers. Get your emotional whatever one side and just think like them and just talk numbers and how I can do this is okay by when, and boom, it happens, right? Women are not like this. Women build relationship one step at a time, but remember the flip side is it's lifelong and it's meaningful and it's forever. All right, so I'm gonna go to the Q&A section and see if there are any questions. How does one build relationships during a networking event? Usually it's all small business add value talk. So like I said, about building relationship is about creating small talks, and you will not be able to build meaningful relationship then and then, but you know yourself, we are intuitive, right? Like, you know, she's my people, and then take it offline and, you know, have coffee sessions later on. You know, networking, like I said, it's about getting getting visible. Just go talk to people, be omnipresent, and, you know, especially for a local market. All right. Building relationships is not going to be just there and then. It's after the networking event. All right. So how do I leave a conversation, especially when I can't find someone to take over? How long should a conversation last? Oh, that's what I said. How do I leave a conversation? Just leave. Like, oh, okay. Just say like, nice to meet you. I'm gonna scoot over there and talk to someone because, you know, I saw someone that I want to talk to. So see you later. Zoom off. You know, why would it be so hard? It's like, it's only when I need to please, like, oh, what people think of me, blah, blah, blah. This is a networking event. Like I said, networking, it's about 5 minutes. There must be somebody who is going to take over. It's like all people are all over the place, right? So, oh, have you met so-and-so? Okay, why don't you meet her and just connect? So it's good to actually meet people first and go there and talk to people. Then you have this, you know, connecting people all around. But just leave, like, hey, you know what, nice meeting you. I'm gonna scoot around and talk to more people, and I'm gonna talk to that person there because you know, she's a friend of a friend, blah blah. I really want to catch her before she leaves. So nice meeting you. I will catch you again, and you know, let's schedule that let's schedule that coffee meeting soon. That's how you leave. Just leave. 5 minutes, 1 to 2 minutes. If it's boring, leave like in 2 minutes. You know, it's not that hard. Alrighty. If you have any questions, if you're on air right now, please go ahead and press *2, and I will unmute your line and talk to you and ask your questions. Any more questions? That's great. So if you value networking, I would love for you to, you know, check out Her Spiritual Network. It's a community of women, global, who they, you know, it's not about pitch fest. In the Her Spiritual Network, it's not about pitch fest. You know, you go to like normal Facebook groups, people are selling you something. You know, like you're not sure whether they're really creating real relationships with you, or are they trying to sell you something that you don't need. So that's why I created Her Spiritual Network, is to actually build a sisterhood community, a soul sisterhood community, so that we can help one another and get our names out there and build meaningful relationships, and especially recession-proof our business. So right now I have one very yummy bonus, which is I'm gonna do an interview like this with you and help you rank and raise your profile on Google. So if you know, I have it on the Spiritual Network. I have been ranking my you know, YouTube videos on Google page 1, and that's how I get a lot of media coverages as well, because I rank myself on page 1 of Google for Purposely in Love, and you have to be on Google page 1. I mean, that's the perception. You may not be the best, but if you're ranked on the page 1 and if people can find you immediately, you are perceived as the best. That's the way it works, right? Page 1. So that's what I want to do for the people who join Her Spiritual Network, and that is I have, I think, 15 slots left, and by 30th of April, I'm going to take that bonus away. So that is worth at least $3,000, because, you know, go check out how SEO works, right? You either pay somebody to do it, or you do it yourself and you learn it yourself, right? How long are you going to learn to do that? So I will rank our interview up, so that gives you a little bit more coverage, and I will blast that throughout my social media platform. I have 7,000 fans, and I've got 3,000 people on the Spiritual Entrepreneurs. That's what I want to do for the women in Her Spiritual Network, because, you know, media has helped me raise my profile so much. I'm on Cosmopolitan, Clio, Her World in Singapore, Harper's Bazaar, and that really raised my profile. And within like 3 months after I started my Purposely in Love, Clio contacted me to be featured as an expert, and I'm like, who, me, really? So that was one step at a time. And once you're in the media, they will keep repeating and inviting you, because I don't think there are many experts to begin with, and the writers themselves need people to cover. You want them, they want you too. So you need to get in their radius, and then, you know, they will be very happy to promote you. And once you appear on the magazine, the writers, the rest, they will see, you know, they will read and they will contact you. That's how I got contacts like that. So you have to be on whatever it takes, be on Google page one somehow or other. So that's what I want to do for the people, the wonderful ladies in her spiritual network. And so do check it out, right? I'm going to take the bonus off very soon. And if you want to raise your profile and get, and get your name out there, get people talking about you, then this is the network. And people there are awesome. I'm telling you, they have a power team by themselves. There's a herbalist, there's a coach helping people sleep well. That's Renee. And then we have Katie, who is a nutritionist. She's starting out. She's just awesome. We have Kay. Oh my God, I can't wait to eat her yummy food in LA. And we have Lee, the dream expert, the shadow work expert. And we have the latest Ming Ling. She's the brand expert. So you can see this is like a community, a very tight community. So I invite you to check us out, and I will see you soon. Let me see if there are any last questions. Alrighty. So if you are already not part of the Thriving and Amazing the Spiritual Entrepreneurs Group on Facebook, I do highly encourage you, get yourself over there. And if you have enjoyed this week's show, please leave me a comment below, share it and tweet it, and I'll see you really soon. So thank you for watching. This is elyse-anne signing out. Bye.